So, what is it like being married to this loquacious, unapologetic, ambitious person? Tune in to find out. Dr. Martin here. My son is also refusing to sleep in his bedroom, so he's kind of in the loft area snoring. So if you hear a noise, that's my son. But I thought I would do a post on this because, whenever I post about like my achievements or my accolades or like work or advocating for, I don't know, equal pay or having control over your own body or holding people accountable for their actions, the most common thing I get, can you cook and clean? She just seemed just abrasive. She clearly single. Spoken like a single parent, which is always very interesting to me because being a single parent isn't an insult. So that's always the one where I'm just like, none of these are insults. Being single isn't an insult. Being a single parent isn't an insult. Standing up for myself is a compliment. So also, I convinced my husband that if I get 10,000 YouTube subscribers, he will do a live with me. This is a big deal because my husband actually does not like social media like that. Like, he watches stuff, but he's very much like, this ain't for me. So if y'all could give me the 10,000, that would be great because, yeah, I've always wanted to do like an episode with him, but he ain't having it. So anyway, a lot of times I feel like people believe that they have to put their life on hold or that no one will want to be with someone who is so not entrenched in their career, but my career is important to me. I've always known that this was going to be something important to me because Black mental health and dismantling the system that oppresses my people every day is always going to be a life goal for me. So there's always like this thought process that you can't, like be in a relationship too, if you're not like willing to, I don't know, it's like kowtow or sublimate yourself. That's not me. And just a FYI, if you think that I have a huge personality, which I do, the partner that I chose to be with is an even match. And that's not in terms of like, it doesn't mean that my husband is as loquacious. It doesn't mean that he has such a gregarious personality. It doesn't mean that he's as loud as me. It means that he balances me. And I don't want people to go around thinking that you have to decrease certain aspects of yourself to fit into what other individuals deem is appropriate for them. I am my full self in every single room I walk into. And that does not intimidate my husband. A lot of times I'll get things like, oh, you just seem so intimidating. My husband ain't never been intimidated by me in his life. And that's why he's my husband. Like, there's someone out there for everyone. And if you feel as though you have to dim your light to let other people shine, get the freak up out of there. Get out. It's not the goal. So a lot of times when it comes to career stuff though, there does have to be a balance. And if anything, having a partner who he's not a psychologist, thank God, who's in a different field than me actually really helps me to have perspective. And after having our children and when it comes to work and stuff like that, when it comes down to making choices, it's a little bit easier because overall, the only people I truly need to answer to is myself and my family. Not someone else's level of what they deem productivity to be, not me deciding that like not doing that publication, like thinking that was going to be the end all be all. The only people I need to answer to are myself and my family. And it really does help me to be grounded in the decisions I make. I am very talkative. For the longest, I really didn't get the whole unapologetic thing as a concept. I can understand that now. It very much is how I was reared. And I'm like a typical East Coaster. I'm from Philly. I would say my husband is a typical Southerner. He's from Nashville, and it still works. So I really feel like the biggest thing is identifying values within relationships and letting that be a guide for you overall. I knew my husband was the person that I wanted to marry probably earlier on. And it's very interesting because I honestly never really thought I would get married. I always knew I wanted children, but I never really thought I would get married. And I met my husband and we had aligned values in a lot of ways. Like we had so many conversations about values. And I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is the person I'm going to marry. I definitely knew. And we had conversations about it, but I will say he took his sweet behind time. You know, we were together 7 years before this man proposed. 7 mother. I am still mad about it. I am. Part of it was because I also like was in a PhD program that tried to steal my soul every single day, and that wasn't very stable. And then also like having to be long distance at certain points because of my PhD program. But so what? So what? And it doesn't matter. He'll never watch this anyway. So anyway. Oh, he does subscribe to me though. Whatever. You know. This ain't new. So yeah. But identifying certain values. And don't think that just because you're in a career like with terminal degrees and stuff like that, that you have to stop your life. I delivered my baby after defending my dissertation, my first one. I had my second baby and then started my first tenure track position. I got married while I was in my PhD program. I spent time with my family. I very much realized that like bees get degrees. And also, I graduated my PhD program with a 3.9 and no one cares. No one cares, right? There were very many times where I chose sleep over an A paper and it was still worth it to me. And I really think I want you to understand, like, the only person you need to preserve is yourself and your mindset, right? Like, because if your body breaks down, what's the first thing I'll say? Well, why didn't you take a break? If your body breaks down at work, maybe they'll send you some flowers. They'll hire somebody else tomorrow. The only person you need to answer to is yourself, right? I answer to me and I answer to my family. And I'm very much aware that preserving my well-being, what's best for me is what's best for my family, because I'm a core aspect of this family. What's best for my husband is what's best for this family, because he is a core aspect of this family, right? So don't feel as though like you have to go. I would say like during my PhD program, it was some of the worst mental health I've ever had in my life. In addition to like the ridiculous course load and unrealistic expectations, really, really racist environment, invalidating environment, and everyone was really normalizing just the absurdities. Like it really was like the emperor has no clothes and all y'all just letting this man swing his stuff around and he naked. Y'all acting like y'all don't notice this man is naked. That was the system I was in. And it wasn't until I got out of it that I realized like how toxic it was. And because of that, I'm very, very firm on my boundaries and always remembering like boundaries guide your behavior, rules guide someone else's behavior. I will very much say like, I'm not doing that. Nope, I'm not going to this additional thing. I'm going home to spend time with my children. Oh, do you want to come to this event? I do not. Oh, okay. Well, it would be helpful to publish another thing. It probably would, but I've met my limit on the amount of time I can dedicate to that, because I realized that like these people, some environments don't deserve all of you. Most environments don't. And I know who I'm beholden to at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I do not. At the end of the day, at the beginning of the night, long story short, too late. It ain't long. It ain't short no more. I know who I am because I know who I'm not. And who I am is someone who's very much like a fierce protector of like friends and family. And those are the people that I feel like I am beholden to, not work. And I also want to state, our careers are actually pretty long. Most of the time, a lot of times people feel like the need to go. Our careers are pretty long. Pretty long. You can rotate what you're doing eventually. It may not be in that 1 second, but it can happen eventually. And that's something that also helped me when it came to like maintaining my relationship, because it is still work. Is realizing that sometimes I did have to take a step back and not do that assignment, not stay up all night. Sometimes date night was more important than getting an A paper, because at the end of the day, who cares? Sometimes acknowledging, in the beginning, I feel like I used to always be like, well, this is how it is. And it's incredibly stressful. And I would like not be as open when it came to listening to the fact that like, yeah, this is how it is. And it still sucks. Both of those things can exist. This is how it is. And as someone who is about to be your husband, as someone you've been with for years, they should be concerned about your well-being. They should possibly be a little irritated that like you're not taking care of yourself appropriately. They care about you. So even just acknowledging if you have a partner who's or someone around you, or being aware of, it can come out a different way, because people on the outside looking in at like your goals and you're realizing that you're not taking the best care of yourself. Yeah, they're probably right. That's why I always feel like it's good to have a support system that's not solely in your field, because Missing a nail. Okay. It's good to have a support system that's not solely in your field, because they are really good at recognizing like, hey, from the outside looking in, this looks incredibly toxic. And you can't tell that it smells in here because you have been sitting in this room with all your friends who smell, but I just walked in here and it smells like arms. Yeah. So maybe let's take a break, right? So be aware of that. And just be comfortable being yourself. If someone doesn't want to be with you due to like the stage in your life when it comes to you're focusing on school and stuff like that, they're not for you. And they may come back around. That don't mean you're gonna be available when they come back around. But I get asked all the time, like, how does your husband handle you with both hands? And most of the time, honestly, when people ask if I'm married, if I can cook or if I can clean, I really don't reply because it's a very stupid question. Or when they ask about my husband, I'm like, what does he have to do with this? What does he have to do with this? This is my degree. It's my channel. But I thought I would address it because a lot of times I do get asked by people who are up and coming in the career, like, how do you balance, parenting and being a wife and being a human being? And I don't. I go according to like the Stacey Abrams model of it's Jenga. Sometimes, pieces fall and then I just try to build it back up. Sometimes I am an amazing wife and an adequate parent and a terrible person to myself. Sometimes I'm adequate across all. All times everyone survives, and I have a support system that understands that. But stuff falls all the time. I can be on time to carpool, on time to daycare, miss my parking spot, be late to class, end up crying in my car, still do my class, come home, cook dinner. It really is about, like, a lot of times people will be like 50-50. It's not 50-50. It's we do what needs to be done. Because when I was studying for my licensure exam, my husband might as well have been a single parent. Like, he very much handled our son more than I did most of the time because I had to study to pass this exam, and he got that. Like, it wasn't even a question. He just stepped in. It's not always 50-50 because sometimes I need more and sometimes he needs more. So I don't believe in that 50-50 thing. We very much do what needs to be done, and that works for us. Like, and I feel like you should think about what works for you in your relationship and what you want, because so many times people will be like, oh, this is how you do it. That's what's up. That's not how I do it. And especially if you have individuals who are like, oh, well, this has worked for my relationship. The key word is your relationship. Some people very much may need everything to be 50-50. There are many times when my husband is doing more. There are some times when I'm doing more. It just happens. We kind of just do what works. We're a team, and that's just what goes on. So also be aware of like what works for you and be honest about it as well. But don't think that just because you are going for a terminal degree or you have so many goals that you can't have a family, or that you can't have children, or that children have to come with a family, or that children have to come with marriage, or that marriage has to come with children, or that a relationship has to come with marriage. None of those things are true. Do what works for you and find someone who's cool with that. All right. That's all I got. Thanks for tuning in to my ramblings about relationships. You can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube at Raquel Martin PhD. And I will be starting lives in April, weekly lives. So hopefully y'all can tune into that. And please comment below if you have anything else that you feel like contributes to a nice, strong relationship. I need to start putting my call to actions in the beginning or in the middle, because I don't know if y'all are watching. If y'all, you know what? I should do Easter eggs. Okay. If you made it this far, I want you to comment below the best Black sitcom in life. And spoiler alert, the answer is Living Single. But I'll take other answers too. All right, have a good one.